Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to share with you some thoughts from the 9th chapter of Paul's second letter to the church at Corinth, 2 Corinthians chapter 9. So he continues to talk about this collection to the saints in Jerusalem. And he talks about how he boasted about the Corinthians church to the folks in Macedonia, and that he is sending someone on ahead of them, I guess apparently with this letter, to get ready. See, he said, I don't want you to be embarrassed. I want you to have time to think about this, to have time to pull your offering together so that it is voluntary and you are eager to do it rather than being persuaded to do it, being extortion, as the word is here. And he says, and the point is, he says, those who sow sparingly will reap sparingly. Those who sow plentifully will reap plentifully. If you're stingy with your giving, then your reward will be stingy. But if you're generous with your giving, then your reward will be generous. And again, remember what he said in chapter 8. If the eagerness is there, it doesn't matter how much you give. It matters according to what you have, not what you don't have. And so if you're willing to sow, to give generously out of whatever you have, whether it's $1,000, $10, whatever it is, if it is generous for you, then it will be acceptable and it will be a blessing, and you will reap what you have sown. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will supply and multiply your seed for sowing and increase the harvest of your righteousness. God's at work in our giving. I've seen this before, time and time again. People give, the church gives over and over again, and we're blessed beyond measure by how God responds to the generosity of his people. You will be enriched in every way for your great generosity, which will produce thanksgiving to God through us. We will be the instruments of your generosity. You pass your gift on to us, we will make sure it gets to the saints in Jerusalem, and because of that, you're connected to the church, and you give this as a gift of thanksgiving to God. So when we give, it is a spiritual discipline. Yes, it's a fiscal discipline, but it's also a very spiritual discipline. Are we obedient? Are we giving with eager hearts, joyful hearts? And why are we giving? What are we giving to? In the midst of all that, God's going to bless those who are generous, those who are called to give, and he will bless you as well. Now Paul's talking about, your treasure, your money right here, but this lesson also goes well with your time and your talent. What do you give? How do you serve? Do you give it, hesitantly, or do you give it without just, pour it out and allow God to use it as you will? I'm venture to say that if you are willing to give your time and your talents in such a way that God can take them and he will bless them, if you're generous with it. If you sow yourself in the ministry, then God will reap. You will reap something beautiful. Hope this helps, my friends. Take care, and we'll talk to you again.